In this lifetime, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody except yourself. And after what you've gone through, if you don't have that by now, it ain't gonna never happen. Unless you listen to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Would you like to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Speakeasy and master connector Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on this planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another spectacular episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. And oh my goodness, I'm wrapping up this Friday because I am very excited because I have a fun guest to bring to you today. She is a designer, author, visionary, and the heart of Thrive Dental and Orthodontics. Yes, we have somebody from Thrive Dental and Orthodontics on Thrive Loud. Couldn't there be any perfect match here? With a passion for empowering the next generation of servant leaders, she faithfully leads her Thrive team to transform smiles and lives. She regularly speaks on business, mindset, faith, and philanthropy. Thrive Loud listeners, we're going to have a ton of fun. Dr. Christine Coughlin, welcome to Thrive Loud.
Thank you, Lou. It's such an honor to be here. I'm so grateful. I love your podcast. I love you. I love your book, everything about you. And I'm so grateful when I met you through Amberly. And I was like, I need to get to know this guy more. He's amazing. So I'm just very honored. So thank you. I'm delighted.
The feeling is mutual. I had the great opportunity to connect with Dr. Christine Coughlin late last year with a whole super mindset group, the ultimate mastermind group going on with Amberly and her colleagues. And I found some of the people in this group to be so fantastic that I wanted to feature them. So here's what I want to do, Christine. I don't want to go all the way back to the womb. I kind of want to go back and understand, like, how did you connect all this stuff together? Obviously, dentistry, your speaking, your message. I think our listeners would love to pull this all together. So I'm going to give the mic to you and kind of let's hear your story.
Yes, absolutely. So my story, well, I'll start in 2011. I went through something that kind of changed my whole life forever. I don't know if any of you have heard of this. Many of you probably haven't. It's called Asian eyelid surgery. And it's an extremely common, have you heard of it before, Lou?
I have not. No.
So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So it's an extremely common procedure in Korean culture, especially South Korea. South Korea is known as like the plastic surgery capital of the world. Have you, K-pop and all of that, K-drama. They all
have work and they're only like 20 years old. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, they have work done. Like you turn 18 and you get your Asian eyelid surgery. It's like this just inordinate amount of pressure placed on young women and young men, even young men, to alter their appearance, to change their eyes. And that's just been going on for generations and generations. So I believe since I was a little child that I needed to have this procedure to be enough. I didn't think I was enough. I didn't think I was lovable or attractive enough. And I just believe that since a young age. My parents never, said you have to get this done or anything, or implied that I needed it, but it was just so ingrained in our culture. And I grew up in the United States, but still, I mean, obviously in Korea, it's extremely strong, but like even Korean Americans, it's just extremely, extremely common. So that's when I knew growing up.
So you knew this growing up. So did you end up having this procedure growing up? Explain to me.
So yes. So let me finish my story.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go into it now. And I was like, let's explain that. Okay. So what happened was I went in for the procedure, and it was supposed to be a very non-invasive, done with sutures, like not really any cutting involved. There's different types of it. There's like the more invasive, less invasive. So I was going for the non-invasive one. But what I experienced for those three and a half hours was not what I had expected at all. So for those several hours, I was feeling everything that the doctor was doing, and he properly anesthetized me, and he actually ended up cutting out about just a very large amount of my eyelid muscles, and I could feel everything. So I just kept telling the doctor, I could feel this, like I'm in so much pain right now. And the doctor just kept saying to just stop crying because it's messing up my procedure. And I couldn't help it because my eyes were just tearing automatically from the pain being inflicted on them. And the doctor was so aggressive, and the amount of force he was using, at one point I felt him yank my eyelids up so hard. Oh, I'm so sorry for a little bit of a trigger warning. I'm sure you'll let your audience know that too before. Sorry about that, Lou. But yes, the doctor was so aggressive. At one point he yanked up my eyelids with so much force that I felt my whole body kind of lift in the operatory chair. It was just so terrifying. And for those hours, it felt like an eternity. And I was just so horrified. All I knew was pain and horror for those several hours. And I just knew something very wrong was happening to me. And I was just so scared. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't move. I was like frozen in shock and horror, and just, I didn't know what to do. It was like a deer in headlights, and I was already open, right? Like the doctor had already started cutting and, resecting and just really doing the surgery. So it was such a scary experience. And, Lou, even after the surgery was over, the nightmare was just beginning, because the pain was horrific. I couldn't even shut my eyelids closed. And it was just terrifying. Every time I blinked, it was like so unbearable. It was so painful. And I was so distraught, like very deeply disturbed. And I became suicidally depressed because not only did I feel like I was messed up physically and like just mutilated, I felt like I was being mutilated, and that now I see myself and I looked in the mirror and I felt like I looked like a monster. And I felt just deeply distraught at what I saw and what I experienced. It was just like this emotional and psychological agony, torment that just like agonized me every day of every minute of every day. It was just like constant. And I developed body dysmorphic disorder and PTSD, amongst other things. Doctors told me that I already had a brain that was very, very prone to depression, anxiety, OCD, ADD, since childhood. I'd struggled with depression and low self-worth and ADD, all of those things. And I just didn't think I was a lovable child. I just really struggled with self-worth. And I was also teased for being one of the only Asian kids in my school. And so I just always felt like there's something wrong with me, that that I just felt unlovable, to be honest. I just didn't feel like I was enough.
Yeah.
And
keep going. Yeah, keep going. I'm just listening.
Well, Lou, I was in such a dark place. I just fell deeper and deeper into darkness and despair. And this depression, it was so intense. Like I felt like, this is really hard to say, but I felt like I was literally like living in hell, and I understand what it feels like for people who end their battle with depression, who can't make it through and they end up taking their lives. My heart, it tears my heart apart anytime I hear about that, because I understand that pain. And can we please get rid of that stigma that, the stigma on mental illness and the stigma on suicide? It's not like they committed suicide because they're a bad person. I don't even like that word. People are trying to change that now to they died by suicide, not because that person is a coward or because they are, just running away from their issues, not because that they're selfish. I hate when people say that, because it's the furthest from the truth. It's because they truly believe that there's no hope for them and that the pain that they've been in for so long has been so unbearable and they don't see an end in sight. And so I just really wanted to say that, because it breaks my heart when I hear people say things like that for people who are hurting that badly. So, yeah.
Wow. First of all, I want to put a pause in there. Thank you for sharing it. And obviously, I didn't know any of this. And how old were you when all of this took place?
I was 26.
26.
Right after I graduated dental school, right after I got married. And it was supposed to be the best time of my life. And then this happened.
A couple of questions I'm very curious about. One, did you ever take any legal action against the doctor in any of that way for all of that, or just curious?
You know what? I was going to, but then I just knew, just because I was in such a broken place and I just needed to heal and move forward, I decided not to press charges. The doctor did actually reach out to me and apologize. And he asked him to forgive him. And I told him, you know what, like you ruined my life. Like I almost ended my life because of you and your dishonesty. And in his eyes, he just thought, oh, I thought that was the right procedure to do. Yeah. But I was like, I was led, I came in asking for something, and then you didn't even properly diagnose me. You unnecessarily cut out my eyelid muscles. And I just became distraught, like psychologically, emotionally damaged for so many years, and it's something that I struggled with for many years. And so it was very hard for me, but I actually told him, you know what, like, I forgive you, but you can't do this to other people. Because I did find out that he did do this before. And so I did leave a review, and others actually reached out to me after that. But I prayed on it, and I really thought this through, because I was like, I really wanted to, but I realized I don't want to put all my energy into that. And I know that things will work out the way they're supposed to.
Wow. So how did you move through all that stress and trauma and self-doubt? What did you do? What steps did you take to get yourself to move onward and upward out of that into a better place?
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I want to touch on next. I also wanted to say that I did have 2 revisional surgeries to try to correct, there's no way to absolutely correct something like that, but to improve the appearance of my eyes, to help with some of the asymmetries. And so it did help a little bit, but I personally just felt in my eyes, I was just damaged beyond repair. Like I was just so distraught. And I just, for years, I struggled with this hopelessness. And there were 3 things that I would say that really helped me. So the first one was, first I had to choose, like either I was going to live or I was going to die. I had to choose. And of course I had to choose to live. I couldn't just give up, no matter how much I wanted, no matter how hopeless I felt, no matter how much I was hurting. Something in me just held on to this tiny sliver of hope, even though it was by a thread, something deep down in me. And, I grew up going to church and I kind of went away from my faith, but I just had this just deep down in my heart, like I had this belief. I knew God existed, and I was just at the end of myself, right? At the end of my rope, at the bottom. So I just asked God, please help me. And I began to seek my higher power, because I believe we're limited. If we don't, seek our higher power, it's very hard to overcome things like this, because I really believe it's almost a miracle that I'm still here today. Because there were so many times that I felt like I hit rock bottom again, and I was so tempted to give up, but I couldn't. I had to keep fighting. And it's very hard to hold on to hope without faith. And so what I had to do, so the number one thing I had to do was decide to persevere, but I had to hold on to hope through faith. And so I pressed into faith. I just began to seek God with all my heart. I had to start changing the way I thought of myself or saw myself. I had to change the way I was thinking. I had to start replacing all these lies and limiting beliefs that I believed for so long, that I was ruined, that I was ugly, that there was no hope for me, with the truth of God and His Word and who He says I am, right? I had to start replacing lies I believed since such a young age to truly to start to heal. I had to reach out too. Like, you can't persevere through something like that without the help of others. I had to reach out for help. And without the help of like therapists, doctors, counselors, even pastors, friends, loved ones, coaches, mentors, without them, I wouldn't have been able to make it. I couldn't do this on my own. And no matter how much I wanted to isolate myself, I had to reach out for help. Of course, there were times that I just couldn't do it on my own. And I had to almost borrow the faith of others who believe that I can overcome this, that I will be able to do this. So seeing others or reading stories about others who have been through really devastating things in their lives, that really encouraged me that if they can do it too, so can I. So I just did everything in my power, Lou, just everything. I tried everything. I tried every type of therapy. I tried medications. I did everything and anything and everything I could so that I could overcome, so that I could heal. And you know what? There's no one size fits all. I wish it was easy. I wish it was just up and up and it's easy, but it was like ups and downs, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 2 steps forward, 4 steps, and sometimes I felt like I hit rock bottom again and I would get so hopeless again. It's like, well, I've been doing everything I can. Why can't I heal? And there were times when, it just felt like, is any of this working? But you know what? You just got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. And it's through the hardships that you're becoming a stronger person. And so perseverance, that was the number one thing I had to do. And then the second thing was perspective. I had to change my perspective because I couldn't change what had happened to me, right? I can't go back and change that. And I used to believe, well, there's just no hope for me because the only way I'll be okay is if this had never happened. I mean, that's a hopeless way of thinking, right? Yeah. Because I just couldn't accept what had happened to me. I couldn't accept what I looked like in the mirror. I was so like, oh no, I can't accept what I see. Like I can't accept, this is so wrong. But I had to learn to accept I can't change this, but I can change the way I see it, change my perspective about it.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of work, right? Because I had this victim mindset for so long, and I had to invest in my personal development so that I could develop a growth mindset so I could overcome this. Because if you want to change our lives, we got to change ourselves. We're meant to grow. We're not meant to stay the same, right? We're not Tony Robbins. What does he say? If you're not growing, you're dying. Yep. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to grow. I just grew and grew in my personal development. I just invested a lot of time and effort in that. And then I also became my own health advocate. I knew that I had to optimize and heal my mind, body, health, and wellness. And so functional medicine has been pretty life-changing for me too. Just really, I knew I had to take care of myself if I really wanted to overcome this. And I found out different things about my health, like my genetics. I don't know if people have heard of the MTHFR genetic mutation. About more than 30% of the population has that. And people don't realize it, but it leads to depression if we don't take care of that, right? And it leads to all kinds of issues, miscarriages, etc. But that's a whole other tangent I could go on. But
I wanted to make a connection here because this is interesting. I started thinking about this, and the optics, like you said, growing up, this was something that was done. This was a perception and a self-belief, and it unfortunately took something bad to happen in that process. Yes. Which was a procedure for you to have to go through even a worse spiral and then to be able to bounce off of it through finding faith, through finding all these different ways that you continually help you elevate yourself. And I find this interesting. Part of what you do every day is to help people smile and smile better, right? From straightened teeth and cleaning teeth and dealing with that, and obviously helping a very key part of, obviously, it's a lot of young people, I assume orthodontry and stuff like that you're dealing with.
Yes.
Which is a lot about the optics, right? In helping, which is and how people are looking. And I've seen people with crooked teeth and different things, whatever. So you're literally, I'm saying this in the face of this each and every day, right? Helping other people perceive things. Have you kind of like compared a little bit of that? Like, I think that it's such a great balance, right? Because you had to go through something that affected you deeply inside on a perception outside. And here you are, look, helping with that stuff. Can maybe talk a little bit, because that's kind of what goes on each day you're dealing with, right? You were never getting away from it.
Oh yes, absolutely. So as a dentist, this was why this was very hard for me at first too, like accepting what I had gone through. Because as dentists, we are like, our job is to like save teeth, right? Save teeth and conserve every little like tenth of a millimeter of tooth structure, because we want to save that, because every tooth is so precious. And I felt like, well, aren't my eyes precious?
Yeah.
How could someone be so aggressive and just cut out a part of my eyelid and just like mutilate me like that? That's like, it just rocked my soul. And what I've learned is it's through sometimes the crushing things in our lives that help us to become, I guess, the version of ourselves that God created us to be. And so to tie that together, for me, as a dentist, I get to transform smiles, but also lives every day if I choose to help transform lives. Because yes, maybe we could help fix teeth, but there's so much more to dentistry than just fixing people's teeth and getting rid of cavities and things like that. We're helping people to shine, because if you can't smile, you can't connect with people. You're hiding. Like people who are not happy with their smiles. Did you know that studies show that people with a healthy, beautiful smile tend to have more success and happiness in general? Isn't
Obviously,
that amazing?
I mean, you're talking to Thrive Loud here. I'm smiling ear to ear every day. Of course, I know all of this.
Of course, exactly. See, and you have a gorgeous smile too. And when you have a smile that lets you just truly express yourself and connect with others, like, isn't a smile so contagious?
Yes.
So I'm so passionate about that. And you know what, Lou, for many years, I couldn't even smile. Like I couldn't even laugh. I stopped drawing and painting because I lost creativity, because I was so just depressed. But now I can smile. I'm so grateful. So I don't take that for granted. And I really, really care about others and how they, see themselves as beautiful, and your smile is such a big part of that. So that's why I'm very passionate about that.
I want to say, first of all, I'm glad you are where you are today, and obviously unhappy that you had to go through the journey that you went through. And you made a great point, like, it sometimes takes the smashing of certain things to make us into the people that we are.
Yes.
You speak about inspirational messages, and you have the connection to your faith and all of this. If you were to summarize, what's the one key, the gift that you received from this whole experience that you're giving to the world? Christine, can you help maybe share what that gift is in the message that you deliver?
Absolutely. This brings me to my third point, which is purpose. So I've learned that through the pain and everything that I've been through, it was actually preparation for my purpose. And it's a lot, like going through the pain. If I hadn't gone through what I've gone through, if it weren't for the pain, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't have the unshakable faith I have. I wouldn't have the vision I have. I wouldn't be the leader I am today, because I wouldn't have that. I just became a deeper person. Pain can actually be a gift.
Yeah.
We can either let the pain, though, it's up to us. Though, it's a decision. It's a choice. You can let the pain destroy you, or you can let it develop you into your destiny, and I truly believe, I know that we were created for a purpose. Of course, everyone wants to find their purpose, right? Everyone's like, what's my purpose? And people don't want to go through the pain that it takes to get there. But there's something so powerful about like what pain can do. It allows us to pain is there to teach us. It's there to develop us. And we're forged in the fire. You know what I mean? And so I look back and I'm so grateful now. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm so grateful that God allowed these things to happen in my life, because if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be the person that God created me to be. I wouldn't have the passion. I wouldn't have the purpose. I wouldn't be able to champion and empower my team at work and the people in my life and speak life and hope into them. I wouldn't be able to help others and make a bigger impact in those ways, because I really believe that things we go through in this life are not just meant for us. They're meant for all the people that we're going to help and who need hope and healing through our story. So I truly, truly believe that there is purpose in your pain. And then if you trust God, you can turn your greatest pain into your greatest purpose.
I love it.
Truly.
Here's what I want to do. I want to do the admin part of the show here. Dr. Christine Coughlin, share with the listeners all the places people can learn about you, about Thrive Dentist, anything you want to offer. We will put it all in the show notes, but it gets more engagement when they hear it from you.
Yes, absolutely. So you could follow me at Dr. Christine Coughlin, on Instagram, and then also Thrive Dentist. So at Thrive Dentist. That's our Instagram handle for that. And then you could also check out our website, thrivedentist.com. So that all of our handles are just Thrive Dentist. Is there another question? It was
no, that was it. That was the big one.
Yes. I have something for your listeners.
All right. Yeah.
Yes. If you're in the Dallas area, because we have several locations here in the Dallas area of Thrive Dental Orthodontics. So we want to offer your listeners 50% off Zoom whitening.
Ooh, I'm going to have to hop over into the DFW area, get some, you know what, we should film that. We should get me in there going in. We're going to have Thrive Lab, Thrive Dentist. I think that works out well. I think we would have a fun time there.
Amazing. I can't wait. Amberly came in too to get her work done.
Well, I mean, now I have to do it. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, I would love that. That would be so much fun.
So we've done the admin part of the show. We've heard your incredible story. I want to have some. We've been having fun the whole time because Dr. Christine and I have always having fun. And what I want to do now is take you and our listeners down Fun Street. So, Dr. Christine Coughlin, you ready to make the move down to Fun Street? Okay.
Yes.
Is there an all-time favorite movie or one that you love to rewatch that you have?
Titanic. Oh my God. I cry every single time. I think it's the best movie of all time. It's so beautiful. Even the story, the romance in it, it's just so beautiful. And also the cinematography is beautiful. The music is beautiful. Everything about it is just so touching. I love it so much.
It was recently on, and there were two things that I noticed. One is obviously how young they both look, Leo and Kate.
I know.
But I also realized it's man when he makes movies, he goes into depth, doesn't he? But just so good.
James Cameron, yeah, he's amazing.
He really does. And what's interesting, I just saw the recent Avatar movie, and the second one, the new one that just came out this Christmas, and there's a whole scene where they're underwater in a boat or ship or something, and I remember being like, "What? He combined Avatar and Titanic together? That's his thing."
Right? He loves it. It's amazing.
Right. I'm going to do the speed round here, Christine. This is how this rolls. I'm going to ask you something. I want the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
These are things that lift you up, motivate you, make you feel good. Basically, they make you thrive. Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Thrive.
Of late, a song that you love to hear, or maybe one that pumps you up.
Champion by Dante Bowe.
Oh. A favorite food that is not a dessert.
Ooh. I love Japanese sweet potatoes. I know that's dorky, but I love them.
A favorite dessert.
Anything cookies and cream flavored. Although I can't do dairy or gluten, but
Okay.
Whatever I can find that is a good substitute. Yeah.
An activity you wish you did more of.
Pickleball.
Oh, I love it. We got to play. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you gotta play. I love pickleball so much.
An activity you wish you did less of.
Less of? Oh my goodness. That's a tough one. What do I want to do less of? Oh, loading the dishwasher.
Okay.
And unloading.
Doing the dishes. An activity you recently tried that was new to you that you want to recommend to everybody.
Yes. Well, visualizing. I've always loved visualizing things, but I didn't have that as a practice. But did you know that visualization is the most powerful? I'm sure you know this, but visualization, our brains don't know the difference between it actually happening or the visualization actually happening. So people champions like Tom Brady, they visualize it. It's already happened in their mind. And just the power of visualization, that's been really helping me a lot. I think everyone should do it.
Interestingly, one of my tactics ahead of every single conversation, which we talked about, is that I visualize how that conversation is going to go and actually in the direction we're going to go.
That, Lou?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh, you have so many amazing golden nuggets. I still have all the notes I took. So good. I love it.
If I could snap my fingers and Dr. Christine Coughlin could be anywhere in the world, where is she?
Switzerland.
Oh, have you been?
Yes, it's heavenly. It's like is it heaven? I mean, of course, nothing's gonna be as good as real heaven, but man, it's pretty close. It's amazing.
Maybe it is. Maybe we'll learn that that's the heaven.
It is. Yes.
And the
You
food
gotta
and
go
the
on.
chocolate and the cheese, actually, it kind of is. I think you're totally right.
Everything's so good. Everyone there's so healthy.
They're all
Like
very
people,
nice.
they're all so friendly. They're so healthy, and they're so fit. Like all ages, like even up to 80, they're just like fit as a fiddle.
Dr. Christine Coughlin, so great to have you on Thrive Loud. Everybody check out Thrive Dentist. We'll put all the links in the show notes. So glad to have this conversation with you. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Lou. Appreciate you so much.
To all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep moving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.